Now that we've pressed them, I probably should take a moment and see what they're measuring to. They should measure now at 2.5 inches raw. This is where my life starts to go awry. So let me look and see what I've got going on here in my lap, okay? Okay, let's put this down here. Take my ruler and measure it. Yay, it's right! Okay, now that I know it's right, I'm willing to cut off the bunny ears. If they weren't right, I would take my ruler and see if I didn't cut something wrong. But once it's all measuring the way it's supposed to measure, just trim those puppies off. I've stacked up the 4 going to the dark on one side here and the 4 going to the light right here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to nestle them together. Here's your flying geese shape. Again, there are other ways to do it, but this is how it's been done in this quilt. And I'm going to nestle these 2 little pieces together, making sure that the seams are exactly aligned, and they're not, so I'm going to re-finger that. So, ooh, that looks good. I call that the sneak and peek technique. Then, using my really expensive pins that I talked about in the beginning, I'm going to drop a pin in 1/16 of an inch before and 1/16 of an inch after. And then of the sew line. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up and I'm going to make sure the line is going across, and it is. Now, one thing that I'm going to note here is that a lot of machine companies don't want you sewing over pins. I've done it, and my machine had to go to the hospital because the pin broke and went down to the shaft of the machine. So what I do is I know I'm going to be sewing 1/4 inch on this white here. I put the pins right, let me get this. I'm going to be sewing on this white right here. I put the pins underneath the fabric where the 1/4 inch seam is going to be. That way, when the needle from the machine hits it, it won't be hitting metal to metal, it will be hitting the pin. Another thing you can do is, of course, pull out the pin when you come to it. I want to be really clear here. I am not advocating sewing over pins. Be real clear on that. But I do it in a very slow and cautious manner, and understand, for real, I'm doing this at my own risk. So there's that little piece of fabric that I ended with that's helping catch the threads. I'm going to go very, very, very slowly. I guess I didn't quite do it like how I said I did it, but I sure tried. But notice how slow I went and how careful I am in getting that 1/4 inch. Let's just see if that turned out nicely. I would do all 4 at the same time for chain piecing, but let's just see if I pass the test or not. Pretty darn nice. Okay, I'm going to sew all 4 together now, and then we'll deal with the middle.